Hey guys, we're back. Uh, we made it back to our main camp. Um, we're gonna get ready here to wrap things up and head off the mountain. Okay. This is, I'd like to give you more, but I don't want to give you too much right now. Okay. I guess you can call this a teaser. There's going to be a lot more to come, believe me. I just figured you guys would want to see a night excursion, and so why not? I'll give it to you. Now, before we go and wrap this up, I got a little story I want to tell you. Now, I've told you before that I've been at this for a long time, a lot of years. Well, I kept thinking, I'd like to tell you a story. And I was thinking which one I could tell you. And I thought I got a good one for you. Okay? Up here, in these mountains up in here, the Sierras, this one part of the Sierras we're at, I had just gotten out of the service. I came back from Vietnam in '73. Summer of '73, I was released from the service, from the Army. And of course I went back home and such, and I went directly back into the woods because it's where I felt more comfortable. I didn't like the concrete and steel, and I didn't like being around a bunch of people. I was used to being out in the jungle. So this is where I felt at home. Anyway, and I used to be an advocate hunter at one time. So this was one of these moments. I'm hunting. And this particular hunting excursion, I was with my girlfriend. And we had a nice little camp and such, you know how that goes. Anyway, so the first morning we were there, we started out, and of course I'm hunting for deer. Well, everything's going fine and dandy. It was a nice, really nice morning. I remember that distinctly. Everything was just going smooth. So anyway, I was tracking, and I got on some deer tracks. So the bloodhound I am got the nose to the grind, and I'm doing my tracking. Then I came up to this one area, which I was on top of a ridge. Now down below, you have to go down a canyon, and I wanted to go down that direction because when you got down the bottom of that canyon, below was a beautiful meadow. I mean, just gorgeous meadow. It was a perfect setup for deer. So I figured I'd get down there, might get me lucky enough to get myself a good buck. So anyway, my girlfriend, she's walking alongside with me. As soon as I got to the point where I'm going to start descending down the ridge, I noticed there was this structure. I didn't think about anything about it at the time, but I'll tell you this, I wish I knew what I knew now then. Okay? I'll say that. Anywho, I see this structure. Okay? And as I looked at the structure, the first thing I thought, this doesn't look natural. It's kind of strange, odd. And what it kind of looked like, it looked like a hut. You know how the structures I've showed you on some of our videos. Remember the nest? Okay? It kind of looked like that. but it was all put together in a particular way, like I know how they're done now. I didn't know this then. So at the time, I just assumed like, maybe it's, it's just something that's just the way it is. Maybe it was natural. I didn't know at that time, although it didn't appear to be natural because I'd never seen anything like this before. So my girlfriend, she says, Danny, what's that? I said, I don't know. Maybe it's den for maybe it's a bear's den or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Look, I've never seen a den like this before. In fact, I've never seen anything like it before. And she says, well, what do you think it is? I says, I don't know. I said, I'm going to go inside and take a look. And so, crazy me, and I do these kind of things, and I stuck my head in there, there was an entrance. So I stuck my head in there, look around, and I noticed that, I don't see this being any kind of a bedding area for any bear or anything else I could think of. And when I looked inside, then I actually went inside. She said, and my girlfriend says, you're not going in there, are you? There could be something in there. And I said, well, we'll find out. So I got inside. And when I got inside, there was it was all bedded down with pine needles, okay? Branches and with the pine needles and just the pine needles itself. It looked like a big bedding area. And that kind of struck me odd. And I've never seen anything like this. What the hell is this? Then I noticed a funny smell. The kind of smell that I know now. That really foul, pungent smell. And when I came out, and I remember my girlfriend, she looked at me and she said, Danny, what is that smell? It really stinks. I didn't know. I had no idea what that smelled, but it was a smell I had never smelled in my life. I know what it is now, because now I've been around that smell quite often. So I just looked at her and I said, that's probably some stinky bear. I didn't want to freak her out or anything, because I wasn't sure what the hell I'm dealing with here. So I figure, let's get on to the task. I want to get on to hunting. So I let that go, even though it was in the back of my mind, and I kept thinking about it as I'm walking along. So I pick up some more tracks, and so I'm following the tracks. Now I'm on top of the ridge, and now we're starting to descend down the ridge. Now we're going down in the canyon. I get about halfway down, and of course, whenever I do this, I will always take it zigzag parallel. I got about halfway down, and all of a sudden, I kept hearing this really heavy grunting noise and like really heavy breathing. And I stopped, and I looked around behind me, and I thought to myself, what the hell is that? I had never experienced anything like that before. I've been close to bear, they don't sound like that. What the hell is that? I continued to descend, and then all of a sudden I stopped again, and when I stopped, I heard a couple footsteps behind us, like a thump thump, and it quit. Well, about that time, my girlfriend, it freaked her out, and she just ran up to me and said, what the hell is that? There's something behind us. Now, I knew there was something there, but I didn't want to scare the pants off her, so to speak. So I just kind of, I don't know. I says, could be anything. I was kind of uneasy at that moment. So at that time, I was using a M1 carbine, and when I went to go pull the bolt back, and I was sliding around into the chamber, I let the bolt release, and the goddamn gun, it jammed on me. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, oh shit. I got something behind me that I don't know what the hell it is, and this goddamn rifle just jammed on me. So my girlfriend, she says, I'm telling you, there is something behind this, and it's scaring the hell out of me. And I keep hearing all this heavy breathing and grunting. So I knew at that point in time it was nothing that I had ever experienced before in the woods. Now at this point in time, I'm really feeling uneasy. And plus to the fact that here I got a round that's jammed in my carbine. So what do? I dropped the magazine, I dislodged the jammed round, and I re-engaged the magazine. I finally get a cartridge into the chamber. About that time, this thing was really close behind us. I would say probably about 25 feet behind us, maybe 20 feet. And there was that smell came, the same kind of smell that I smelt in that little hut, that little structure. Actually, it wasn't little. This thing was like this. It was pretty huge. And I remember that smell when I went inside. And now that smell has followed us. And I could smell it as plain as day. I had never smelt anything like this. I mean, I've even smelt dead bodies on the battlefield, but I'll tell you what, I never smelled anything like this. And she asked me again, what is that terrible, awful smell? I says, probably a dead animal or something. I was basically doing whatever I can to, keep her at ease so I didn't want her freaking out on me. The best thing I figured to do was finish my descent and get to the bottom and get to that metal. So, that's exactly what I did. Then, I heard a couple grunts and like some really deep, heavy breathing. And when I hit the bottom and I got to the metal, I turned around, I looked up the hill, back up in that ridge, and it was gone. Now, and that's where I say, I wished I knew what I know now then. Because I probably could have got me some hella evidence. But at that time period, anybody that was involved in doing any groundwork on Bigfoot, nobody had an idea what they were doing, and there was no sufficient evidence in those time periods where you had a clue anyway. So basically, Sasquatch always kind of stayed a myth and a legend. Let's put it that way. But I knew myself that what we had experienced it was completely off the scales. And to this day, and I'll never forget that, and to this day, it just kind of baffled me how close it actually got to us. So, now you understand, kind of something, about me, why I decided a few years back that it was time to do some real research on what this is. And that's exactly what I went and did, and me and Garland hooked it up, and the rest is history. I had one thing on my mind, and that was to prove that what I had experienced was no joke, it was no fluke, it was none of the sort, it was real. I mean, it was real. You would have had to been there to experience that moment with me. And so, since then, we know they're real and they do exist. And the funny thing about it, they're still up here. They're still up here. They've been here for a hell of a long time. And to tell you the truth, a little while ago they were out here. Even at our base camp, we were surrounded by them. We had one right here to the front of you, and there was some more to the rear of us, and also to the right of us. We were just literally surrounded. And right now it's really, really quiet. Really quiet. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap this up and get off this mountain. And I hope you enjoy these videos. And we'll go ahead and we'll catch you in a few more weeks. So from me and Garland and Toby, I'll say goodbye. You guys want to say goodbye?
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You guys take care. We'll catch you next time, okay? Adios.
We need some deviled eggs. We gotta go.